Hello viewers, welcome to the Travel Diaries. This is a podcast where we talk about travel and everything about travel. Today on this journey, we have Miss Ryna Sequeira with us, who is Director, India Tourism and Events, Queensland. Welcome, Ryna.
Thank you so much for having me, Meeta.
What was your first time when you visited Australia?
So interestingly, I think we share that in common. The first time I ever traveled internationally was to Australia. So it's funny that we never spoke about this before, but it was obviously traveling first time international, which was a very, very special moment for me. It was a complete eye opener because of the Australia I grew up knowing versus what I saw was so different. And it was absolutely stunning. I think the first destination I went to was Gold Coast, and back then Gold Coast was so different. I'm talking about 2007. There was, the development was so different. The skyline was different. The experiences were, of course, we had some of the experiences we still have now, but now it's just become, a completely new destination as well. So I think Gold Coast was an absolute pleasure to be I was not there on holiday, sadly, I was there on work, but it was such a beautiful experience still.
So talking about Queensland, which is our main topic today, since you are the Queen of Queensland, so what do you think about 5 best things for a newcomer to do in Queensland?
Okay, so I would say again, because you're going, say, for a first timer, you want to tick off bucket list items and you want to tick off all the icons. So definitely go to the Great Barrier Reef. Okay, that would be your number one, reason to visit. The beaches, we have some beautiful beaches. In fact, Whitehaven Beach has just been voted one of the top beaches of 2025 by Lonely Planet. We have Surfers Paradise Beach in Gold Coast, which is stunning, and Indians love to go to Surfers Paradise and stay there. Besides that, Brisbane is actually a brand new experience, I would say, even for a first timer, because they're anyway going to Gold Coast. I would suggest to stay at least a night in Brisbane. Beautiful capital city. There's great nightlife, great dining experiences, lots of new hotels that have come up as well. And then you have the rainforest also. So the rainforest is another experience to take off, and there are so many ways to do the rainforest. River drifting in the rainforest, where you're literally lying. So river drifting is an experience that is done by a company called Backcountry Bliss, and you're in the rainforest in Mossman Gorge, again up in Port Douglas, where you have this tube basically, or this inflatable that you're just lying down on. You trek up the river a bit and then you just lay down and you drift in the river, and you're just looking at the rainforest.
It must be at a very gradual pace.
Yes. It depends on the speed of the river, of course, but it is an adventurous experience. Okay, so you do need to know to swim for this experience, but it is something that is really unique and special that you cannot do anywhere else in Australia again.
Wow, I think there's no end to the adventure things the people over there.
Yeah, they love the outdoors, they love adventure. You've seen it yourself, you've been to Cairns also.
I've been to Brisbane very recently, and the last time I visited and this time is so different. Yeah. There's so many things that have come up, the number of hotels, the nightclubs, and the best experience for me in Brisbane was the Eat Street.
Oh yes, of course. It's one of my favorites too. It's such a great experience.
Really, it was an eye-opener to me to go like this on a totally cultural experience with a mix of people and the bandwagon, and we got wonderful vegetarian food at Eat Street. And some of the real good quality. Sometimes I feel the Indian food in Australia is better than India.
It's got so many diverse experiences as well, and even cultural experiences. That's something that I feel like Indians are still not, have warmed up to. But I feel like the indigenous culture in Australia is so special, and that's another experience that Indians can still, do when they travel to Australia as well.
So, where do you think was the best cultural experience you had in Australia?
So I would say in tropical North Queensland and Cairns. So we used to have this experience called Japukai once upon a time, and that doesn't exist anymore. But it was a really good eye opener or a window to the indigenous culture. But I feel like going further, one step further, there is an experience called the Mossman Gorge Dreamtime Walk, which is up in Port Douglas, 20 minutes from Port Douglas in Mosman. And that is something, when they talk about a transformational experience through the locals or through an indigenous culture, I think I personally felt that. It's just a walk in the rainforest with an indigenous guide. And they really, they talk about Dreamtime stories. They talk about the rainforest. Obviously, the ancestors actually lived there. Such interesting, information about the land that you're walking on, and you really truly connect with the land. And that is something that I feel, is so special to have in Queensland as well. Besides the indigenous, I would say even the local Australians, are really warm and friendly. And I feel like literally from the time you get off the plane, where you're at immigration or, going out, you hail a cab or you book, you get a transfer, everyone is so welcoming. And I think that is something that, again, I struggle in a lot of places in the world when I travel. But like when I come to Australia and when I experience that, it is really refreshing, because they obviously don't know that we are from the tourism board, or, there's no preferential treatment really, because, they have no idea who we are. But they're just generally so warm and friendly. And so besides obviously that, the indigenous cultural aspect, I think this culture of theirs of being really warm and friendly as well, and just being really laid back and relaxed, where you feel like you're on holiday, no one is stuck up, everyone's happy to say hi, hello, even if they don't know you, they'll greet you, they'll help you, they'll recommend things to you. So I feel like the vibe is just really, really warm and friendly as well.
Yeah. And I think the people are such that they're so adventurous. They themselves want to do a lot of adventure, and they want people to do a lot of adventure.
Well. Exactly.
So coming to adventure, there is no end to the number of adventures that they have. Yeah. Can you name any 5 off the list that you think of?
Okay, we'll start with really hard adventure. So we'll start with skydiving. Okay, so skydiving over the Great Barrier Reef is something that is so unique and special. That's obviously from Cairns. Then you have skydiving in Gold Coast as well. Then if you go, next would be, I would say, bungee jumping in Cairns. That's another really cool experience to do in the rainforest. You can't do that anywhere else in Australia. So again, that's special. Diving, snorkeling. And so diving in the Great Barrier Reef would be another hard adventure. Then I would say softer adventure would be hot air ballooning, the theme parks. So there's so much surfing, like jet skiing,
and there's hot air ballooning in Gold Coast as well as in Cairns.
Exactly, yes.
So where do you think the experience is, how do you differ?
I prefer the Gold Coast one personally, because they do this beautiful breakfast after the ballooning experience, which is of course very amazing. But the breakfast at the vineyard, and then you have this beautiful alpaca farm where you can go and feed the alpacas and take them for a walk, and I think it's a really cute experience. So that's something that I would highly recommend, like hot air ballooning in Gold Coast.
No talk about Queensland can be complete with the adventure capital Gold Coast. Can you tell us more about what is the newest thing and what are the parks?
Okay, so we have obviously the Warner Brothers Movie World, Sea World, Dream World, Paradise Country. We have so many theme parks on the Gold Coast that are so famous, and everyone loves doing the theme parks, and age no bar. Like I would say, I see senior citizens sitting there and I see like toddlers there. So it's amazing that it suits everyone. Of course, depends on the level of adventure they are after. There's a lot of new development that has happened in the theme parks as well. It's not like the same old rides that you had maybe 10 years ago. In fact, we just had the Wizard of Oz experience open up in Movie World. So I think that's pretty unique. Sea World has a new Triton, Atlantis experience. So they have some beautiful rides that are themed around the Atlantis theme. Of course, Dream World as well is now coming up with their own restaurant. They have a brand new restaurant as well, and a lot of new experiences like Rivertown that's opening up. So there's a lot of updates that are happening constantly to the theme parks also. So it's not like if you've been there on one trip, you can't go back again. And everyone loves to go to the theme parks. In fact, they spend, I would say in 3 days, 2 days they'll spend at a theme park as well. So it's great. I mean, people should go, they should really enjoy the adventure rides there, and obviously stay more nights and do a lot of other experiences as well in Gold Coast.
As the wildlife is so intrinsic to this area and nascent that you won't find this anywhere else in the world, just because Australia is an islands country, and there's no migration between the animals of other parts of the world. So whatever is there, they've done a wonderful job of preserving those.
Conserving it,
So what has been your best wildlife experience?
Obviously, a koala cuddle and a kangaroo are going to be, top of the list in terms of even if you're going for the first time or a couple of times to Australia. The first time I cuddled a koala was like my dream come true. Fed a kangaroo was amazing, but I think over the years, the most amount of times I have done a wildlife experience would be whale watching, and never have I ever felt like, oh, I've been there, done that, I don't need to do it again. It's just so amazing to keep going back and seeing these gigantic creatures, and it really, gives you a perspective on life, on how small we are versus how huge these beautiful animals are. And it's just great. We have 30,000 humpback whales that cruise along our coast up to go and have their babies up in tropical North Queensland, and then they come down the coast again. So literally from June every year, you can go and see these whales, and they are amazing to watch. Like,
I think some of the Gold Coast hotels also you can see from the balcony at times. That's what I have heard.
Yes. I've seen it actually from Gold Coast, from Hamilton Island. I remember sitting in my balcony and just seeing a whale, breach. So it's so special. It's such a special experience. And the amazing part is they're so close to the coast. It's not like you have to go too far out to see them. So I think that makes it so special and unique.
I just want to mention one thing here. The koala cuddling experience has been one of my favorite also. The first time we went to Australia, we had done this experience. And the best part about the people, as the friendly nature you said, I would say that when we went there, they took our photographs and they give us a souvenir of the T-shirt with the photo, and that I still have as a souvenir. It's such a dear thing for me. So it's a combination about the friendly nature that you said, and they want to do something good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the wildlife, and that is really, really good.
And not just good for us, also for the animals, because they really conserve all their wildlife, and they do so much for conservation as well. Yeah, so I think that's another big call out for Australia.
That's why they have maintained those, and they have given the quokkas and so many things. But the quokkas also a great experience. Coming back to wildlife, when I had gone my last, or I don't know, I think 2014 or 16, we went to the Sirome Vines, and there outside our hotel there were baby kangaroos and kangaroos just hopping and having their morning breakfast and in the sunshine, in the morning sunrise. Was such a good, that's what vividly I can remember of my visits over there.
That's amazing.
We cannot stop Queensland talking without the luxury of it. How much more luxurious can you get? What has been your most luxurious experience?
So obviously I would say Qualia on Hamilton Island would be the one which I've experienced the most luxurious in Queensland, but Hayman as well, now an intercontinental hotel. We have in Gold Coast now the Langham that has opened up 2 years ago, which is amazing. Like, obviously it's got the best views, unrestricted views of the ocean in Surfers Paradise itself. It's a hot property. Everyone wants to go and stay at the Langham now on the Gold Coast. We actually have a very new development in Brisbane now, which is the new 5-star precinct called Queen's Wharf, where you have the Star that has opened literally I think 6 months ago. And so the Star property is one of the 3 properties that are planned for the precinct. So we also have Dorset and Rosewood that are going to open in the coming years. We also have the Mondrian that's opening in Gold Coast later this year. So all of these 5-star luxury properties, but also you have some really unique luxury lodges. Like I mentioned, Qualia is one of them. Silky Oaks up in Cairns is another one. And Lizard Island from Cairns is another very unique experience in the Great Barrier Reef. So luxury in Queensland is, of course, it's the way you define it is basically having nature at your doorstep. Literally, you're in this beautiful 5-star experience, but at the end of the day, nobody gets to be so close to nature as much as you can. So it's the location, it's being in the heart of, you know, the world's oldest rainforest, that is the Daintree. It is being in the heart of the Great Barrier Reef. It's all of that. So I think that's how you define luxury in Queensland. So yeah.
And the best part to me was when we were flying into the islands, the scenery, you almost feel as if you are looking at a jungle below the water with the different gradients, the watercolors changing, and it's like a forest you are seeing in the ocean.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
absolutely stunning.
the flight experience on the Barrier Reef is one of the good ones.
It is really unique, and you get to see the heart-shaped reef,
Correct.
which is again so special, which you can't see anywhere else in the world. It's absolutely stunning. And also there is another experience that takes you extremely close to the heart reef. It's called Journey to the Heart. And this is, I would say, the most luxurious Great Barrier Reef experience you can have. This goes off only on Hamilton Island, okay, and they take up to 6 people on the helicopter. You land on a pontoon that is extremely close to the heart reef, and it's a beautiful pontoon. You go there, you can snorkel close to the heart reef. They take you for a glass bottom tour around the heart reef, and you come back to Hamilton Island. So it's so unique and it's so special because no one else has access to that point. So that is something that, you know, I felt when I went on that. I was like, wow, like it is special. You feel special when you're on that experience. So yeah.
Lovely. Tell us what has been your best wine and dine experience.
A lot of options, because a lot of people are vegan now in the world, and Australia caters really well to vegan and vegetarian and gluten-free and all kinds of dietary requirements. So every restaurant will have an option, you know, whether it's a vegetarian dish to a gluten-free or, you know, option for, or a non-veg option also for that. So I feel like that's one thing, like it's not just salads that you get to eat, you do have good food now when it comes to vegetarian as well, in terms of good options for you to eat, whether it's an Asian vegetarian or it's an Italian vegetarian, you know, you do have those options available. In terms of, obviously for the non-vegetarians, I think seafood, if you are a seafood lover, you have outstanding seafood in Queensland and in the rest of Australia, of course, and you have some really cool experiences where you have, you know, they are literally restaurants like that are parked there where you have, you know, whether it's prawns or you have scallops and stuff that literally come off the boat, and, you know, they're prepared fresh for you and then you eat them right there. So that's of course for seafood lovers. And then you have steak, which is something that if you love your meats, then, you know, Australia is the place to eat your steak. And of course, Queensland does an excellent job in steaks as well. So yeah, and then if you want to go a little adventurous on your food, you have crocodile as well that you can eat, and kangaroo. That's available on menus when you're up in tropical North Queensland as well.
And what about whining?
And we have a lot of wineries actually in, I would say, area that is 45 minutes from Surfers Paradise. So if you go up into the hinterland, you like O'Reilly's is one of them. You have a Mount Nathan winery, you have Kurumba winery. So you have a lot of wineries as well around that region. And Sirome you've been to, that's also a beautiful winery, or a vineyard rather. And if you go up further from Brisbane to Sunshine Coast, you know, you have your tropical fruits, your vegetables, everything that are so amazing there. Like, I mean, that's what Sunshine Coast is known for. It's great food and produce. So yeah.
So I think when destination becomes exotic, truly exotic with its food and wine and its people,
True.
What would you suggest for a vegetarian to specially try Queensland?
In Queensland, I would suggest, I mean, they do a lot of things with cauliflower now. So like a cauliflower steak is something I would really like suggest, like a char grilled cauliflower. It's delicious. I mean, I know it sounds like very simple, but it's actually quite delicious. So I would highly recommend that.
Do you like the pavlova?
I love a pavlova. That's a dessert, obviously, and yeah, and it's, you know, it's very
Australian. Mm-hmm.
So again, that's got egg though, so it's made with egg. But yeah, I would highly recommend doing, you know, pavlova or a lamington, or yeah.
And the experience you have shared gives us a good platter to decide as per our taste and experiences what we like to go to Australia and Queensland once again, for sure. Let's have some quick round of what would be the best places to do things. I would like you to explain a little more in detail so that get more insight into things. What is the best way to see the marine life?
Diving or snorkeling. in the Great Barrier Reef.
Best wine and dine experience in Queensland.
I would say Howard Smith Wharfs for dining in Brisbane, the Tropical in Gold Coast, Salt House in Cairns. Yeah.
Most luxurious resort in Queensland.
Oh, that's a very tough one. We'll go with Qualia, Hamilton Island.
Okay. Best place to skydive.
Gold Coast or Cairns. Sorry, it's hard to decide.
Favorite Queensland beach.
Whitehaven Beach in the Whitsundays.
Reef diving or rainforest trekking, which is the best?
Personally, reef diving. Rainforest trekking is also great, but I would love reef diving.
Leamington or Pavlova, which is your favorite?
Pavlova.
Why?
I just like the taste more. That's it. I love passion fruit. So
Sunrise over the mountains or sunset on the sea?
sunset by the sea.
Best place for hot air ballooning?
Gold Coast.
Favorite hiking spot? Have you ever done hiking?
I have not done a major hike, but I would suggest Glasshouse Mountains and Sunshine Coast would be a great spot for hiking.
Best place to attempt scuba diving in Great Barrier Reef?
Cairns.
Best beaches for Indian citizens, seniors and youngsters?
Surfers Paradise, Gold Coast.
Best nightlife in Queensland?
Brisbane, Fortitude Valley.
And what would be the good self-drive route to take?
So you can do different drives in Queensland. Okay, so we do not have or we do not expect people to come and drive for days around the state. Like, you can really do short drives and have a great experience in different areas. So I would suggest, if you're in Gold Coast, you wrap up your 3-day itinerary, and then you pick up a car and then you drive up to the hinterland and you go see the rainforests. You go up and maybe stay up in the rainforest as well, and then head up to Brisbane and go further up north to Sunshine Coast, because those are the best. The way to experience those destinations best is on a self-drive. So that would be Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast would be one drive. And the other one I would recommend is Cairns, Port Douglas. So Cairns, Palm Cove, Port Douglas, Mossman, Cape Tribulation. So that's called the Great Barrier Reef Drive. So these are the two drives I would highly recommend. Yeah.
And what are the best shopping places?
So Gold Coast has Pacific Fair, which is really amazing. It's like 400 stores in the mall.
Nothing better.
So that's massive. But you have Harbour Town, which is discounted outlet shopping as well on the Gold Coast, which is very popular. Brisbane has a street called James Street, which is your high-end, Australian local designers. It's one of my favorite places as well to shop. It's really, really nice. And of course, you have Queen Street Mall as well, which has all your high street and luxury brands also in Brisbane. So I would say Brisbane Gold Coast would be the best shopping.
And what would be then experience, total outback experience in Queensland?
So something for obviously first timers who don't want to go completely off the beaten track, I would suggest a luxury lodge called Mount Mulligan Lodge, which is it's inland from Cairns. Okay, so you can get there on a helicopter or a four-wheel drive experience, and it is a luxury lodge again. So you are in the outback, okay, in that beautiful, it's like a working cattle farm. But at the same time, you have that luxury as well. So you're not slumming it out there. It's a beautiful view. It's completely, I would say, a first-timer outback experience. So that's something I would recommend. That's in Mount Mulligan in Cairns.
One last question. We would like to wrap up after that. What is, according to you, the best itinerary that one should do covering Queensland's highlights? Okay, so the beauty of Queensland is that you can of course, on the first time experience, come and do the main highlight areas. Okay, so your Gold Coast is definitely a must do. Cairns is a must do. Brisbane is a must do in the first experience. So I would say do at least a minimum of 3 to 4 nights in Gold Coast. Stay maybe a night or two in Brisbane. Go up to Cairns and stay a minimum of 3 nights. I would not recommend less than 3 nights, because it really does not make sense otherwise. You need that time to experience the region. And then obviously when you come back the next time, you do either you do Hamilton Island, do the Whitsundays, do Sunshine Coast,
to other regions in the areas in Queensland as well. So I feel like Queensland is not a one-time visit place. You have to come back. And that's just like not even twice, like maybe you've got to keep coming back more to cover more ground. But it's just, yeah, I would say Gold Coast, Brisbane, Tangalooma, Sunshine Coast, and then going up north, Cairns, Port Douglas, Daintree, all of these areas, and with Sundays.
So ideally a 7, 8, 9 nights first time.
Easily, I would say.
First timers, and then maybe as per your choice.
Yeah, I would say 9 nights on the first time easily in Queensland. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ryna. It has been such a wonderful experience, and I'm sure our audience are going to love this. And thanks a lot for taking the time out for us.
Thank you so much. And I cannot wait to have you back in Queensland soon.